Yo, people. So we've been gone for a minute, but we're back. We got a guest.
What's going on, everybody?
I know you've seen Jay in my videos. You've seen him in John's videos, Thick Whips, and of course we're representing today.
Oh yeah, it just so happened.
Just so happened, right? Just so happened. I mean, we're representing too, but we always rep for the fams. Been in there with What's Your Forte, James. He might roll through, but today we got a little bit of maintenance we're doing. Nothing exciting, but getting ready. Do
Yes,
spark
sir.
plugs.
We're about to do spark plugs, just like you said, basic maintenance on his F82 M4. So Sean's tuned. He's running, I think, just a regular off-the-shelf tune, stage 2 via Bootmod's platform. I don't think you've ever done your spark plugs before, right?
Nope.
So he's well overdue for this. This is very, very important. I won't even call it, it's not a modification, but when you're tuned, maybe you could call it a modification, but it's definitely important maintenance for tuned cars. So that's what we're really doing today. Now, obviously, it's 6 spark plugs. Initially, what we have to do is we have to gap them down. So I have this cool BMS spark plug gap tool.
I think it's super fancy, man.
Yeah, so like in the past, to gap spark plugs, people would kind of just like take the spark plug and, you know, push it against the wall or the ground.
Yeah.
It's not safe. Don't recommend that. This tool right here, all you're doing is just kind of applying pressure by turning this dial, and it essentially closes the gap. And I do have a feeler gauge right here, in which this will allow me to kind of measure the gap that we need to be at. So for a tuned car, he's not running E85 or anything like that. You need to be down to about it's 0.022 to 0.023. The stock plugs are gapped at about 0.028. And if you were on a custom tune running fully 85, you need to be even smaller.
Yeah.
At about 0.018, just for, you know, blowout and stuff like that. But that's what I'm doing right now. It's a pretty repetitive process. 6 spark plugs, so I gotta gap them down 6 times. Once we do that, the crazy thing with these cars is like, spark plugs is essentially such a simple job, but on the S55 platform, there's just so much that you need to remove in order to access the spark plugs. So on any S55, the first thing you always have to do is you have to remove this carbon fiber brace. There's the plastic cover, there's your left intake, there's the 2 plastic covers that come off that expose an aluminum brace. You gotta remove that too. You also have to remove your charge pipes. You see, you have to remove all of that just before you even get access to the spark plugs. And it's kind of annoying, but it's one of those things why shops, like if you go to a dealer, I think when I had my M4, they quoted me $1,000. I thought that was absurd.
It's crazy.
And independent shop will quote you about maybe $500, which I still think that's crazy high for a spark plug basic maintenance job. It's not that hard to do, it's just a lot of steps in removal. You can save yourself a lot of money, so hopefully this guy kind of helps some people out there. But that's really what we're gonna do. I'm gonna gap these down, and then we kind of start dismantling everything. You'll see how everything looks naked, and then we'll go from there.
Sweet. So we'll probably put this on a tripod. We'll do some time lapse, just because there's a lot of boring, you know, stuff to do. There's a million reviews and guides and DIYs on how to do the spark plugs. We just wanted to take advantage of the time we got now, since, you know, I just did oil. I wasn't doing a video on how to change the oil. I mean, everybody knows how to do that. So we are gonna do the spark plugs though, just because it's one of those things. The new M3s and M4s are out, so the G8X platform is out. So a lot of people are getting into the F platforms, the F8X chassis, and that's a whole new group of people that we're trying to help out. They can save some money doing this themselves, a lot of money. And it's just because it's labor intensive. If you've done this a few times, you know what you're doing. 1.5 to 2 hours. If it's your first time, yeah, it's gonna take a while, maybe 3 hours. But, you know, we're gonna get started with that, and we'll be right back. So we got everything off, engine is stripped down to where we need it for the most part. Engine is still hot, so we haven't taken the charge pipes off yet, but that's all we gotta do. And this plastic cover right here comes off, and we'll be able to get to the spark plug. So we're gonna let that cool down for a little bit. But this is essentially, I mean, what you're working with once you get everything taken apart. So really, it's just these main pieces right here that you have to get off. So obviously the carbon fiber strut brace, then you get to the aluminum strut brace, and then just the plastic cover that goes on the top of everything. And you're left with an open S55 engine bay. Turb skis and all. Twin Johnny's hiding down there. A lot of dirt. And that's it. Alright, we're pulling the last bits off now. You've never seen down here. This is the nest of piping that you gotta deal with. Got a little brighter. It's not too bad once you get everything out of the way. So yeah, pulling that back rear charge pipe off. And we'll take the plastic cover off. Good to go. Alright, and there it is. Part of the job, getting the couplers fed through the hoses.
I might have to
Just take the cover off.
Yeah. Or actually,
I promise you, you know what you're doing. So here's an awesome thing about my car in particular. Let's see if we can get it to focus down in there. See how dry, shiny and clean it is down in there. There's no blow by, no oil, no nothing. Sign of healthy turbos. Sign of very healthy turbos. Same thing inside there. Of course you can't see it, but take my word, it's nice and dry.
oh, let's get another
Little bit. And then of course you want to cap these off so nothing gets in there. Throw a clean microfiber in there. And I'm gonna go grab some more. Make it too sharp. Alright, now you can see all the direct injection stuff, the coils, and the plugs are underneath. So now we're gonna start popping these off. Once we get down there, we'll show you some of the other stuff. There's a certain way that these plugs go on. As you can see, they turn a certain way. And there's a way that I identify that on the plugs. Or on the coils, excuse me. So you just lift the top off, and that ejects it from the port. They just kind of suction on there pretty good. And use a bar, flat screwdriver, any screwdriver really. Just pull straight up and pop right out. And that's what the coil looks like. Down in your cylinder head. Yep. And you see that little lightning bolt right there with an arrow. And it's right there on that top. Let's go ahead and focus. There it is. That lines up with the little, yeah, camera's not gonna pick it up. Right in there, there's a little mark where those lightning bolts line up. All right, let's get to adding these, or taking these spark plugs out and putting the new ones in. Hold up, Steve. Let's get this. Oh, it's nice and toasty. There it is. Yeah, those are long. Look at that. Like I said, I've had the car about 20,000 miles. There's no telling the last owner changed it. Like I said, my car is in excellent mechanical condition. Knock on wood. Stays that way. But yeah, the car is in excellent mechanical condition. I'm trying to keep it that way. This is my. I should probably get in front of the camera for this one. So, yeah, those were toasty. This is my 325, 335, M3, M4. My fourth BMW, and I learned after my E90 325, and especially the E90 335 and 54 engine, stay on top of maintenance, stay on top of it. Even if nothing's wrong, you know the problem areas with those engines, stay on top of it. So this one put 22,000 miles on it since I bought it. It's been tuned for 21,000 miles of that, pretty much day 4, and I've done spark plugs. Do oil changes every 4,000 miles, because I'm very, a little over dramatic with maintenance. But if you stay on top of it, you don't get caught on the sideline or on the side of the road. So I'm glad we got to these definitely needed it. So I'm interested to see how it runs once we're done. But oh my God, it's hot. It's hot. I don't look crazy right now. So we're gonna finish this up so we don't die, you know?
Yeah, this works.
Sweet.
So I got it down to 18. So any variance of like plus 2 or minus 2 is fine. So yeah, it works. Cool.
Nice.
Look at this.
So to explain what we're talking about, then everybody's like, what is he talking about works?
We don't have a digital torque wrench, so we had to.
I found this adapter because we wanted to do this today. Home Depot, Lowe's, and all those guys, nothing was in stock digitally, and I didn't trust the ones at Harbor Freight. So I got the adapter, which actually works pretty good, and you can use it to calibrate your mechanical clicking torque wrenches, and that's actually pretty awesome. And it's a pretty cheap alternative. So that worked out pretty good. So we're gonna continue torquing these spark plugs down to 17, but a variance plus or minus 1 isn't bad. You just don't want to break those off in the head, because then you really have a big problem and an expensive one. So we'll continue on that. Almost done, but show you the difference. Let's see if we can get that in focus. Come on. I guess I'll get out the way. But so this is what the spark plug looks like that has been used. Don't know how long it's been in there. This is a brand new one. You can look at the difference in the gap. Let's see if I can get those next to each other. You know, you can really make out that difference. It's a pretty significant difference in the gap sizes. So the factory setting is about 0.28 NGKs. We got to what we do 0.22. Yeah, 022 versus 028. So you shouldn't have any problem with blowout or anything like that. Where, oh God, let me get my face back in there. So when we say blowout, it's where the air coming into the engine from the turbos, it's so violent, so aggressive that it actually blows out the spark because it's too much of a gap, and it will blow out before it ignites the fuel in the air mixture. So when you close the gap just a little bit to the right tuning, according to how much boost you're running, advanced timing, and all of that, that takes care of that problem with blowout. I don't have any of those problems, but just looking at the condition of these, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna run a lot better. All right, plug number 6 is in. Everything is set back the way it's supposed to be. And yeah, you repeat everything you saw in reverse. So we started at 515, it is now 6:33. So not bad. Pretty much takes us another 15-20 minutes to put everything back together. So an hour and a half, like we said. Jay's done this a few times on his M4. So I'm glad he was able to come and help me out, because I've never taken all the bracing out. All I've done is down pipes, charge pipes, and intake on here, and you can do that with the steel bracing and everything up there still intact. So that was some good safety assurance right there to make sure I don't break anything. So we're gonna button this back up. Same thing we did in reverse. It's pretty simple. If you got this far, I'm pretty sure you know how to put it back together. So go slow, take your time, make sure you do not drop any bolts anywhere. And just double check your work. Just double check your work so you don't have to tear everything back down. So let's go in reverse. If you need to actually see how the stuff goes, just slow the camera down, because it's gonna be a time lapse. Put in, 0.25 speed. All right, so camera died on us. So we can do our first start from the phone. Smooth. Oh, it does rev a lot nicer though. So yeah, obviously I gotta reset some things. But yeah, we're good to go.